Hey, this is Jonathan Ariel with a short video about Moodle and what it can do for you as a teacher. Now, at this point, you might be trying to figure out if you want to use Moodle to help manage a course you teach, but you haven't really had a chance to explore the system. For today, I want to focus on the top 3 things that Moodle helps me with as a teacher, and the rest of the videos in this series will get into specifics on how to actually put a Moodle course together. Now, the first advantage of using Moodle is that Moodle can serve as a course homepage that's completely static. What I mean by that is you can set up a page for a course and you can really organize it any way you like, with links and videos embedded on the page, with text boxes all arranged into units of instruction. For example, this is the course page for Unit 2 in my physical science course. Let me click on it so that we can go into the page. And if I scroll down, you can see there's an image that I posted at the top of the unit. There's some helpful links that a student might need while they're working in this unit. And then you can see some activities. These are all quizzes that I've posted down towards the bottom of the unit. And so you could set up the arrangement of activities and links in any way that you like, and that arrangement won't change unless you go in and edit it. Now, the complete opposite of this would be something like Google Classroom. Whereas you publish announcements, activities, and links, the old information gets pushed down on the page. Now, don't get me wrong, I love using Google Classroom for its ability to simplify communication and document sharing between teachers and students. At the same time, I use Moodle for its ability to set up a course page exactly the way I want it. Now, this page you're looking at now is just one unit from this course. I have 9 other Moodle units for this course, and so there's a page for every unit. So when it's time for a unit to show up, I simply unhide it so students can access it, and when they're done with the unit, I hide the page again until the following year. Now, for the second advantage of my top 3 list for Moodle, that would be Moodle's ability to generate quizzes. Let me bring up one here to illustrate. There are several features to Moodle quizzes that are intensely powerful, and I haven't found any other course management system that has all 4 of these abilities. To show you those, we're going to need to go ahead and start the quiz. First up, this quiz that we're looking at has 4 questions. What you can't see right now is that this quiz is built so that it has 4 questions, but each question pulls from its own category of questions. So I might want to assess 4 different skills on this quiz, and to have a category for each skill, you could really think of them as folders. Now, in each folder, I wrote a couple of different questions for each skill, and so when Moodle generates a quiz attempt, it pulls 1 question from each category. Now, if a student repeats a quiz, Moodle will pull from those same 4 categories, but it's going to pull a different question than it did on the previous attempt. So students quickly learn to focus on the what do I need to learn instead of memorizing the correct answers. Now, another neat feature of Moodle quizzes is that you can set them up to allow for student learning. Moodle excels at formative assessment, and I can show you that here. Let me select the correct answer to this question. Now, I read it ahead of time, but the answer is false. Now, if I was a student, I would instantly know that I got the question correct. Now, if I go on to this next question, actually let me go to the 3rd question, and this time I'm going to choose an incorrect answer. And so now I know that I was wrong about that, but if you look right down here, you'll see that Moodle only took away half of my credit for this question. I can try this question again right now for half credit. So let me try that now. And so you can see over here on the left that I did earn half credit for that question. That immediate feedback and the ability to instantly try again for partial credit is really powerful. Now, let me finish this quiz, and I have to turn it in. Let me scroll all the way down and press Finish Attempt, because I have to turn it all the way in to show you a couple of more features about this quiz. Now, the grade on this quiz is pretty terrible. I didn't really try my hardest, but what I want to show you right now is the feedback that shows up for every question. So if you remember question number 3 that I missed on my first try, let's go down and look at that. When a quiz gets turned in, students can see the feedback for the questions. Now, as a teacher, I set up this feedback to include the relevant information needed to answer the question correctly. Students can go back and reattempt the quiz for a higher grade after they've had a chance to look over the feedback. Now, of course, as a teacher, I'll still help a student with a question on Moodle after they've read through the feedback, and I'll try to break it down in a different way. But the feedback screen can really help reteach basic concepts, and it'll allow you to save time to focus on the really tough issues that a student may be facing. Now, let me scroll back up and hit Finish Review. Now, another thing about this quiz is its flexibility. You could assign a due date for this quiz. You can make it only open for a student if they have an acceptable grade on a previous quiz. If a student gets sick, you can change their due date just for that student. You could give a whole class unlimited attempts, or you can restrict the number of attempts they get. If you want one class to have a different due date, you could set that too. If you want an incorrect answer to only cost 25% of the credit, you can set that as well. Moodle quizzes are highly flexible in the way that you use them. Now, the last advantage on my top 3 list is also the most important. I've been using Moodle for about 8 years, but this advantage is the one that sold me on the system. It goes like this. The work you do to build a course in Moodle will always be supported. As a teacher, my inner skeptic looks at new programs and says, this is all great, but what if the system gets updated and all of my work has to be done over again? Well, Moodle doesn't really work that way. Moodle does get updates over time, but one of the guiding principles of the people who put Moodle together is that updates will create new features, but they'll never cause you to have to rebuild any of your previous work from scratch. Additionally, if you change school systems or your system stops supporting Moodle, you could make a backup of your Moodle course and install it on a different Moodle server, and that entire process of making the backup and getting it running again, well, that would take about 10 minutes. Now, usually you're working on a Moodle server that's arranged by a school system, but there are completely free Moodle hosting services, as well as hosting services that can run your Moodle for you for a small fee. I'll confess that putting a course together in Moodle can take a fair amount of work, but it's really nice to know that it's work you'll never have to do more than once. Now, the last thing about this, Moodle courses can be built up in layers. Like, say maybe you want to try it out for the first year, and you just have a Moodle page with some links and a single Moodle quiz for every unit. Well, the next year you can come back and add new pieces onto that course, and over time you'll end up customizing your own Moodle course. Now, in the next 2 videos, I'll show you how to set up your own Moodle course and change things on the main course page. After that, I'll teach you how to write a few questions in Moodle, and we'll assign them to a quiz. Now, between watching those videos and trying the steps yourself, you'll have a short quiz built pretty soon, and from there you'll definitely get an idea of how Moodle can work for you. Thanks for watching.